Hello everybody. It's been a few weeks since I've got to do a video. I've been really busy doing some shoots and it's just been busy. But it gave me an idea for today's video about us photographers, on location portrait shooting, models and customers or whatever, and you're alone. You have no assistance. What do you do? How do you do it? And I'll kind of tell you a little story about how I do it today, now that I'm back in America, versus a little bit about how I did it in China. When I was in China, guys, we usually went everywhere in a taxi or a bus or something, and you're limited what you can take. So whatever will fit in your bag is what you brought with you. And for portraiture, shooting models and stuff, in these parks and under trees and all that, I always knew I was going to be shooting flash, because if I shoot ambient, I may have to raise the ISO high to kind of get a convincing appearance. So quickly I learned about how to incorporate flash into my shooting, but still, usually it was just me and the model, or me and a student, and if I had a student with me, of some kind, I usually handed them my bag while I photographed the model, then I ended up, my last 3 or 4 years in China, I always had student photographers with me, part of the time, not all the time. But when I was in China, I used on-camera flash all the time. You just you couldn't bring big soft boxes and, off-camera gear, stands and lights or anything like that. It wasn't feasible unless, a big group were with you and, we were doing some kind of special shoot, club event of some kind. So I went around just shooting on-camera flash, which is fine once you can kind of get down how to do it, and just a little bit of editing sometime if your photos look a little flat, no big deal. And part of everything when you're alone, when you're a photographer alone, is you got to make deal with the weight. And a lot of times in these parks, we'd walk long distances, and do photos, and it's just not feasible to carry a 70 to 200 lens and have your flash on top of it, and then your camera feels like it weighs 10 pounds, and you hold that up, half a day. It's not feasible. Little short walks is okay. And so I shot almost always. I shot my 85 millimeter lens with my own camera flash, and it was okay. The weight was okay. All right. So I usually ended up carrying at least usually my 85 and my 50, or my 85 and my 35 millimeter lens is what I usually brought with me. Of course, I had extra batteries, for the flash, extra battery for my camera, and my little puffer in case I got some dust in my lens. I learned how to make do. Now, on big shoots, I'd have my big old bag, and it'd be really, really heavy. But the rest of the time, I do something like this. It's a low pro, what do they call it? It's got a title here. It's called a top loader zoom. This is a good bag. Because you can carry your camera, you can put a drink in here, some extra batteries, extra lens, whatever you need, and you're packed and ready to go, and you don't have to carry all your big equipment. And so everything's convenient that way. Now today, when I'll bring my big bag and have it in the car, and then I'll load my little stuff up in this bag, and if I need to go back to the car, I always can, because I keep an extra flash and things like that in the car. And when I first started shooting flash in China, I was doing something like this on the flash. it works okay. It works okay. And if you're on a super tight budget, this is obviously all right. But later I learned to use Magmod. I use Magmod accessories. I started using them in China, and I use it every shoot today here because I'm always on location. I'm shooting one light. I got to do the best I can. Now, lately, what I've been doing lately is I'll load my bag up. I have my camera, and now I got to have my flash on my stand. So this is what it looks like most of the time when I'm out shooting now. I have it's a Yongnuo 560 Mark IV manual flash. I got it on a pretty heavy stand that I got from B&H Photo. And remember, all this is magnetic, so all this stuff breaks apart and fits in your bag really easy. You don't have to carry any kind of big old soft box or anything like that. Plus, the wind will not blow this mess down. I defy nothing short of a hurricane to blow this stand down because there's just nothing to get any resistance. I said, and it's all magnetic, so this all pops on. So what I'll do, when I was in China walking around, most of the time I'd use the grid. If you can see this, but the grid right here helps make a real directional light. And if I'm using, my 85 millimeter, if I'm trying to get a full body shot, I can put out enough flash here, and it gives a nice tight beam. And I can adjust my zoom accordingly also, depending on how tight I want it, in my throw. So the grid was usually what I walked around with. Then if we got in a place that had a roof or a room or whatever, I would throw this on. Now, in today's shooting, what I've learned to do is I'll carry all this just like this, and I can have my camera, my bag, my stand, and my flash, and it's not too bad. This flash right here, depending on how I want to adjust it, I get whatever kind of light that I really need. If I'm going to back away too far from the model, just pop the grid on for a little distance and a little tighter beam. But other than that, this sphere puts out lots of light. And I always start out with low power and go up from my low power. I don't ever want the flash to overbear the subject. It's just, it looks ugly. I hate that big, bright old flash. I want everything to look natural. And so I'll take a shot, I'll look at it, I can adjust shutter or anything to make my light perfect. Because remember, you're by yourself. I don't have an assistant say, well, move it back 6 inches, move it forward 6 inches, or anything like that. I have to keep walking to adjust. So I may make some minor camera adjustments to get what looks perfect in the camera. That's one of the important things. Now what we'll do here, we'll take a break, and I'll try to show a few photos, and then we'll come back and we'll tie this video up, okay? So we'll be right back. Okay, well, you got to see a few photos of what it kind of looks like when I'm actually out on a shoot today down back here in America. Because, when I was in China, I couldn't bring a big old stand on the airplane or anything like that. So everything I did was designed for on camera. But today it's a little bit easier for me. I can use the stand, I can use the flash. And guys, I'm telling you, this Yongnuo sphere flash system, I said Yongnuo, the Magmod guys, see, we make mistakes all the time, photographers, but guys, Magmod is a good way to go. It looks professional, it's sleek, the wind is not going to bother it, so you can have some confidence. You don't have to have your model catching the softbox before it hits the ground or anything like that. And you can use this most of the time, depending on the light. Sometimes, modeled light kind of confuses the camera and doesn't seem like you can put enough flash on the subject. And I'll go back and use the grid. But just remember, if you're moving around a lot and you're out, the grid works really, really good. If you get still for a little bit, throw that spear on, because you can get right up on top of them, the model or your subject, and shoot that low-power flash and get just enough light on the face that it looks real, looks convincing. I hate seeing these dark faces, a lot of these ambient people do, because I know what they do. They go into the editor and they up the exposure a lot, trying to save the picture. But if you use Magmod, like I said, I use a manual flash. I like the total control, even though it limits my shutter speed. I have ways that's for another video, how to overcome that. But this system right here, you can walk around and not have any problems and get great pictures. And I'll show you a few pictures here at the end of the video that I've done just recently, okay? But anyhow, think about it. And I know if you're a solo shooter, you're going to try to be half pack mule, but you don't have to be. Keep exactly what is necessary and get out there and take some pictures. So anyhow, have a great day, and I hope I'll see you again soon. So bye-bye.